Introduction. The financial expert's office was under a banyan tree, his office furniture an old tin box. From the first pages of Mr. Narayan's new novel we are back in the town of Malgudi, with which for nearly 20 years we have been as familiar as with our own birthplace. We know, like the streets of childhood, Market Road, the snuff stalls, the vendors of toothpaste, Lolly Extension with its superior villas, the regal haircutting saloon, the river, the railway. We expect at any moment to see the Bachelor of Arts waving a long farewell to a friend from the platform, small Swami wrapped in his adventurous dreams coming down Market Road, Mr. Sampath at the door of his dubious film studio. It is as if through their friendship we have been able to meet all these new and rather doubtful characters. Margaya, the financial expert, himself, who graduates from the banyan tree to publishing, and back to more elaborate and more crooked banking. But how innocent is all his crookedness, Dr. Pal, journalist, correspondent and author, and Margaya's son Balu, whose progress from charming childhood to spoiled frustrated manhood is perhaps the saddest episode Mr. Narayan has written. All Mr. Narayan's comedies have had the undertone of sadness. Their gentle irony and absence of condemnation remind us how difficult comedy is in the West today. Farce, savage, boisterous, satirical, is Casey. But comedy needs a strong framework of social convention with which the author sympathizes but which he does not share. Miss Compton Burnett is forced to place her stories in the Edwardian or Victorian past. Mr. Henry Green substitutes elaborate conventions of his own for our social vacancies, so that his characters move in the kind of dance we learned at kindergarten. One step forward, one step to the right, twirl on the right talk. But the life of Malgudi, never ruffled by politics, proceeds in exactly the same way as it has done for centuries, and the juxtaposition of the age-old convention and the modern character provides much of the comedy. The astrologer is still called in to compare the horoscopes for Amar v. Riaj, but now if you pay him enough he will fix them the way you want. The financial expert sits under his banyan tree opposite the new Central Cooperative Land Mortgage Bank. To push away a tumbler of milk is to insult a goddess. The caste of a great-grandfather is still of great importance. Margaya, astute about mortgages, consumed by the modern desire for wealth and motor cars, yet consults the priest of the goddess Lakshmi and finds himself seeking a red lotus to pound up in the milk drawn from a smoke-colored cow. The 40 days of prayer have results. He becomes the owner of a pornographic manuscript called First Bed Life or the Science of Marital Happiness, but afterwards, through the caution of the printer, Domestic Harmony. Margaya, the sad, ambitious, absurd financial expert, is perhaps the most engaging of all Mr. Narayan's characters. In his ambitions for his boy, his huge dreams, his unintended villainies and his small vanities, his domestic tenderness, he has the hidden poetry in the unrecognized pathos we so often find in Chekhov's characters who on the last page vanish into life. He knew that he had a scheme somewhere at the back of his mind, a scheme which would place him among the elect in society, which would make people flock to him and look to him for guidance, advice and management. He could not yet say what the scheme would be, but he sensed its presence. He felt he ought to wait on that inspiration with reverence and watchfulness. Whom next shall I meet in Malgudi? That is the thought that comes to me when I close a novel of Mr. Narayan's. I don't wait for another novel. I wait to go out of my door into those loved and shabby streets and see with excitement and a certainty of pleasure a stranger approaching, past the bank, the cinema, the haircutting saloon, a stranger who will greet me I know with some unexpected and revealing phrase that will open a door onto yet another human existence. Graham Greene.